Okay. With Visual Studio Code, I'm going to go through a couple things about what I'm going to be looking for. So the extensions that I'm going to be using um, will be the availability to see the icons so that I can actually see that this is an HTML5 document versus a CSS document. So I do like to have those icons showing. So you don't have to have that on your Visual Studio Code if you don't want to, but I'm going to have that there. Um, I am going to use the Beautify so that my CSS is kind of indented. I do like to have the indenting done. Um, and then the live server so that I can go ahead and see this when I go live. And I use Chrome when I go live. So when I go live, I'll be able to see my website on the Chrome browser. So that is what I want to do. And so I will have it all associated with the Chrome browser. If you're using another browser, that is fine, but just know that I know sometimes people get a little off kilter when they're looking at mine and it looks a little.
Hi, everybody. Now I'm going to talk about file structure and how I want you to create um, every folder that you turn in to me for each of the chapters, for each of the assignments. I want to see file structure and I want you guys to be working with file structure. So I'm on a PC, you're on a Mac, go ahead and create a folder on your desktop. So just go ahead and do new folder, and this will be your template folder. So this will be the template folder that you can use for creating all of your chapter assignments for all of your assignments that you're going to use. I need it to be created this way just so that you guys get used to working with paths and working with file structure. So go ahead and create your template folder. Inside your template folder, you don't have to have anything at this point. We can do all of this with the um, Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open this template folder with Visual Studio Code, and then we'll go ahead and create all the structure in there. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. I'm going to do File, um, Open Folder. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to look for that template folder. Okay, so that is the root folder that I'm going to be creating my websites from. So this will just give you the file structure and what I will be looking for when you turn in your assignments. So this is file structure that I want. So in here, in the template folder, you're going to create 2 or 3 more folders. So I'm going to create a new folder and it's going to be the CSS folder because this is CSS. So uppercase or lowercase, I don't really care what you put there. Okay. Then I'm just going to come back to the template. I don't want to be in that folder. I'm going to create another folder, and this folder is going to be my JavaScript folder. So JS for JavaScript folder. And then again, I don't want to be in that folder. I want to be in the black area or just in the template. I'm going to use the folder one more time. And this can be your images or assets. And this is where you're going to place all your images. So everything will not be at the root level of the folder. So this will teach you how to manipulate file structure and paths. So I always like assets. That's just my go-to, and that's how I set up my file structure. The HTML pages that I'm going to create will be at the root level. So you can also create an HTML folder too. The HTML pages can be in a folder by themselves or they can be in a root folder. So let's go ahead and create our first file. That is an HTML file. And I'm just going to go ahead and click the new file icon here, and I'm going to put index.html. Okay, so that will give me my structure, and this is the template page structure that I'm normally going to have. Okay, with the page created, it's empty right now, so we're going to use what's called Emmet to create the basic structure of the first page, and we're going to use some semantic tags when you're creating your page too. So these are kind of the things I want you to be aware of. So first thing we're going to use is the shift 1 to get the exclamation point in there. So I just need an exclamation point on line 1. Then I'm going to, because Emmet is already part of Visual Studio Code, all I'm going to have to do is press the Tab key. That will open up and it will give you your doc type, this is the HTML5 doc type. It will give your HTML opening and closing tags. So here you can actually see you have your opening and closing tag for your HTML. It will give your head opening and closing tag, and it will give you your body opening and closing tag. In the head part, I do want you guys to add a meta here. And this meta is going to be the meta for you authoring any page that you create and you turn in for me. So this should be meta name and equal, and it should be author. And then the content can be your initials, your name, your last name, and first initial, but just be consistent on the way you author your pages, just so that I know that they're your pages. So then you can put in the content and then your initials. Those are my initials. And then you can actually put in the closing tag for the meta. So this sets up the template, just sets it to have some basic structure here. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and that is the way I'm going to leave it. So this is the template folder that I have, and now I can go ahead and copy this and create all the different chapter folders, all my assignment folders, everything that I need for this class via this folder. And this is what I will be looking for and be grading on.
Other thing that I'm going to be looking for when you guys create web pages for me is to create semantic code. The reason that it's important to create semantic code is because the browsers are going to be looking for things in certain places. In the header, they're going to be looking for normally a logo and certain information. In the nav, it tells people how to navigate or move around your website. In the main area, this is where the meat of the content should be. In the footer, it should have what is considered standard footer type information, um, copyright, um, terms of service, privacy policies, all of that. There are readers out there that will sometimes learn to ignore the header and the footer after reviewing it on the first page. They will know the nav is where they need to go to tab through to get to the next page. They will know, the readers will know accessibility wise to use the main as where this is where all the good stuff is. This is where all the words are. This is where the videos are. This is where the images are. This is where the meat of the page is. Okay. So semantic code, browsers know to look at these different things. They work with people that have accessibility issues and help them find it faster. So I will be looking for you creating semantic correct code. So in that, you can type in header plus, okay, and the plus says it's a sibling to the header. So the body is the parent, the header is a sibling, or the header is a child to the body, but the sibling to the header can be the nav, okay, plus the main, plus the footer. Okay, all of those are siblings to each other. So they will create sections across the page that are semantically correct. Okay, and so like I said, I'll be looking for this on all of your pages that you turn into me. I will be looking for a header. I will be looking for a nav. I'll be looking for a main, and I'll be looking for a footer. Okay. In like chapter 1, we will be working mostly in the nav and the main. We won't be creating a header or a footer a lot of times, but we may. Okay, so this is just a way to set that up. Okay, so everybody should have semantically correct code here. So it gives you kind of an idea of what this looks like. If you look at this page right now in your browser, it says chapter 1 and there's nothing else on the page. Okay, because we haven't put any content in between any of those sections that we created. We just semantically created those sections. Okay, Emmet cheat sheet is out there. I will put this in the chat. This uses the way that you could set things up. Put this in chat. This allows you to set up different sections, different information. It allows you to add classes to things. It allows you to start setting up items. So what I was going to do is I think I do it this way, but with the squiggly brackets, it allows you to put in what you want to be in there. So the actual wording or the content area that you want to be in there. So it's kind of nice because if you know you want a specific, like heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3, you want a 1, 2, and 3 in there. The $ allows you to get that 1, 2, and 3 in there, or the next item, and then the times or the multiplication allows you to get the three of them. So if I wanted to do navs, I could set up the different navs, 1, 2, and 3, and then I could go back and I could make all of my changes to them later. So now I have these headers 1, 2, and 3, and then I might want to put in some paragraphs under there. So I could just do P's for paragraphs underneath each of those to get some nice paragraphs in there. So here I'm setting up all my structure of my website. And Emmet allows you to set it up really quickly based on knowing some of the information associated with um, selectors. Okay, so the type of information that you would be selecting. So if in the nav, I know I want to have an unordered list, I can have an unordered list and then have multiple children underneath that. So I can set up a UL and then underneath it, it's not a sibling, this is directly underneath the UL, I can put in LIs. And if I know I want to put in, let's say 5, okay, so I do times 5, this would let me set up an unordered list with 5 LIs, and then I could put in my home, my about, whatever I wanted to set up for my navigation. So here now I can start typing in home, about, um, services, FAQs. Now, these can be anything you guys want your navigation to be, but these are just my initial um, unordered list with list items in it, and then contact page. Okay, so I have that set up. Okay, now if you go look at your web page, you should have some things to see. And for some reason, it decided to come over here underneath you guys. I can't see this, so let's grab this. So now you should have all of that set up. Now we're talking about CSS, and so far all I've done right now is talked about HTML, right? But did you guys style the header 1, 2, or 3? No, you didn't style that. Okay, you didn't style the header 1, 2, or 3. The browser has some styling set into what is called a user agent. Okay, so browsers are user agents and they do the initial styling. So they put the bullet points on unordered list. Okay, and they stack them on top of each other. They've changed the header 1, header 2, and header 3 to be different sizes. You guys didn't do that. So the user agent did that initially.